Hey, my name is Emi Kimura. I'm originally from Japan, so I don't know if you may not heard of this last name. It's kind of complicated, but just I go by Emi. If you have any questions, just call me Emi. So today I'm gonna talk about covering this topic: how much forage do I have? The forage availability questions, most often asked by pasture managers or rangeland managers. Is there enough forage growth to last for the remainder of the grazing year? Or how many more days of forage are available on the current pasture condition being grazed? So these are very valid questions to ask, and it will be very, very helpful to be able to answer these questions. So good forage and grazing management is always about balancing forage supply with animal demand. And good balance between forage supply and animal demand will increase forage performance, therefore will increase animal performance. However, if animal demand is higher than forage supply, this will result in overgrazing of the pasture in terms of forage and overstocking of animal in terms of animal management. And these overgrazing condition will decrease forage performance and quality, and therefore the animal performance also will be declined. So some bullet points, what's going to happen as a result of overgrazing. Of course, the forage production and persistence is going to be declined because, if we don't have enough green materials to support their biological activity, then of course they cannot produce enough above ground biomass and below ground biomass. And also, if you don't have enough forage, and as I said in one slide back, animal production performance will decline. And if you don't have good animal production and performance, of course, the profitability per acre basis, land basis will decline. And not only the economic part of it, but if you have more bare ground because of the low forage productivity and all that, you increase the susceptibility to the water and wind erosion. And if you have bare spots in your pasture or rangeland, then of course those weeds and the brush invasion will start occurring, and you might need to take more time and money to control those weeds. And
Dr. Muir, are you switching slides or are you still on the same slide?
oops, okay. So that was the forest supply and animal demand part. And if you are not balancing, again, overgrazing and overstocking. And this is the one that I was talking about. Sorry. So if you don't have a good, if your overgrazing situation continues or overstocking condition continues, then yep, um, your pasture persistence is going to be lower because of the root system is not developed right. And any kind of drought event, like we had a massive severe drought in 2011, those pastures in unhealthy conditions going to be very susceptible to get damaged by drought condition. Thank you all for letting me know that I was not changing the slide. Okay, so this is the pasture I visited when I was in graduate school. I was in Washington State University, and we had a chance to visit pastures. Had an education program for Northern California pasture owners. They had a very severe drought in around 2011-13, and many pasture owners lost their pastures and invaded by weed species. And this is as a result, majority of it is as a result of overgrazing because of the root system was very shallow. They could not survive drought event. So this is a figure describing light defoliation, draw, light defoliation figures on the top, and basically this is a regrowth pattern of your pasture or rangeland. And the figure on the bottom is a severe defoliation. So when you graze down close to the ground, your regrowth is gonna take more time as compared to lightly defoliated condition, and it will take time to back up to the normal growth, and then you cut it again to the ground, and it's gonna take another longer time as compared to lightly defoliated conditions. And you may not notice if you are if you don't have these two comparisons, but at the end of the year, you have less forage dry matter produced from severely defoliated conditions. And I have the pictures to kind of explain the same thing I just explained in that previous slide. So this study was conducted by Dr. Ray Smith in University of Kentucky, and they used the orchard grass just to compare these two scenario, lightly defoliated versus heavily defoliated or overgrazed conditions. So they prepared the two pots like this, and one on the left side was cut down to the 1 inch continuously compared to the right side pots cut to the 3.5 inch and had enough rest. And just compared how fast this guy have regrow compared to this guy. And this is the day one after they cut, after continuing this management 1 inch continuous cutting conditions. And you see already the regrowth is occurring on this right side part. And day two, you see a lot more regrowth on the right side part. Day three, day four, day five, day six. Oh my gosh, this guy's got a lot more biomass compared to overgrazed condition in this part. So that's really clearly showing that the regrowth is much, much slower when you overgraze your pasture. And most of our Texas grasses are not cool season grass like orchard grass, warm season grass, but principle is gonna be same. So that, and that difference comes into the root system. This is a different this picture is coming from a different study, but just wanted to explain to you the difference in the root system. If your grass is under overgrazed, they cannot develop enough root system like on the right side roots. And what you want to target is this massive below ground biomass that can support above ground biomass. And this guy probably will survive a drought event because this root can reach out to the moistures and get the moisture better and nutrients uptake better. So another study conducted in Colorado State University, and this is an exposure study in pasture. You see that they protected this portion of pasture for 6 weeks from grazing, and you see how cows in Colorado eager to get to this portion of grass because it maybe smelled sweet because compared to other overgrazed situation. And compared to this one, 1 week of protection and 5 weeks continuous grazing. Now they dug the soil and compared their root system. So this one, these guys is the one that 6 week rested plants as compared to 5 weeks continuous grazing and 1 week resting on this left side photo. You see the difference in the root development. So those rested pasture under any event like drought conditions, they more likely did not have enough good root system. That's why their pasture could not survive in such event. So it's very important that you know how much forage we have and how many animals we can stock in your pasture, so you can create nice healthy pasture. So there are so many factors associated with how many animals you can stock in your pasture. And today's topic, I'm going to talk about this forage part, species present, production level, maturity stage, quality, all that's related. But within this forage, I'm going to talk about, again, going back to my title, how much forage do I have? And there are 7 steps for conducting a forage surveys. I'm not going to read all this right now because I'm going to introduce step by step in next few slides with some photos and illustrations. Before I go into my first step, um, I'm gonna introduce when is the best timing to take forage survey. So forage supply should be monitored visually throughout the year. More detailed information may be required before important decisions are made. But since forage production is very unpredictable, especially in current conditions, we have drought or sometimes we have too wet season and all that stuff. So forage survey should be conducted at the end of normal forage production cycles. In Texas, we have binomial precipitation patterns, like we have precipitation in spring and fall. So our recommendation is to take nice detailed forage survey in June, July period, and then another time in October, November period. And also it is recommended to take one time in March so that we know how much forage left in the field after surviving the winter and winter grazing. So that's the 3 kind of important dates we recommend to take forage survey from your pasture. Okay, so our first step to take forage survey is to determine grazable acres per range site or pasture site. And so we want to have a nice photographic um, pictures of your pasture or range site. And I listed these 3 tools that I'm gonna introduce one by one. One is a Google Earth. You may already have used it before. I played a lot with this. And SoilWeb is another website that you can use. And finally, Web Soil Survey. I'm gonna introduce these 3 tools. Okay, so this is the 3D image using the Google Earth, and I think this is somewhere around the Spar, Texas. Um, so when we want to have, the exact acres of your grazable pastures or grazable rangeland, we need to try to take out some of those building or road and, try to estimate as accurate grazable acres as possible. And with that 3D image using Google Earth will be very helpful because it's clearly showing these roads or buildings, and maybe if you have lakes and stuff, you can take that out from your grazable acres. And also this is Google Earth with not that close shot, but if you use this ruler option, you can kind of measure out the length of your your property, and you can try to find out acres of your area, pastures or rangeland. So that's Google Earth. And SoilWeb was made based on the web soil survey. That's going to be our third tool, but SoilWeb is a much more simpler version of web soil survey and developed by USDA, NRCS, and UC Davis, University of California, Davis. And basically, they give you satellite image with nice detailed soil information. And how to use this is very simple. You just need to go into the Google or Yahoo search bar and type in SoilWeb UC Davis. And normally the first one comes up in your search. It's going to be this SoilWeb site. It says California Soil Resource Lab. And that's going to be your first click. And click menu button. Menu button is going to be located in the left side corner, top corner. And then this drop down menu shows up. So you click on zoom to location, click 3. And finally, enter location. I put the Spur Texas. I was talking about soil sampling stuff using this SoilWeb, SoilWeb. So put Spur Texas, or if you know GPS coordinates, and that will take exactly to wherever you wanna go. So that will be another nice info to put in this location. And now you have this map with nice yellow lines separating from different soil types. Okay, so and if you even click this alphabet, combination of alphabet, then this box will show up on your left side, and that will even give you more detailed information about your soil. So if you want to know about your soils compositions and in your pasture, that will be good information. And also this will have the scale on somewhere on the bottom corner, so you can kind of measure your pasture acreage as well with this and give you a nice picture, photographic image of your pasture or rangeland. Finally, this is our third tool that you can use to photograph your pasture or rangeland. It's called a web soil survey. This used to be very old style hard copy that was located in the county office and stuff. Now they all made it to digital and you can access to this through website. And first time I used this web soil survey was when I was in graduate school, and I had this project to make this pasture and calculate, make an imaginary pasture of my own and calculate right stocking rate on the stuff. So I had to use web soil survey and see there's a green start WSS line button, but somehow I could not find this button for some reason, even though it's clearly showing start WSS. So I put this nice big arrow for you to find where you can start this web soil survey. Anyway, this is a web soil survey, and you clearly click this green large huge button, and it will take you to this type of um, page first. And of course, what you want to do first is to put your location. In my case, I put Texas, and for some reason it says Wilburger, but I put Ford County because I just visited Ford County rangeland last week, 2 weeks ago. So put area of interest in this state and county, or they have some GPS coordinate, latitude, longitude. You can put that to take you to this wherever you want to look at. And if your pasture or rangeland is very square-like, then that's great. Perfect world, you can use this square AOI. It's very easy. But most times your pasture or rangeland is not perfect square, rectangular, so you might need to use this irregular shaped AOI. And that was the second time I took the most time in this web survey to figure out how to use this irregular shaped AOI. But basically it's very easy. You just need to click this irregular AOI and click on somewhere where you want to start just to draw your boundary of your pasture or rangeland, and you make a line. And whenever you want to turn, you just click again. So the line's gonna follow you as you click. You go there and then just click, and you make these lines around your pastures or rangeland where you wanna make the photograph. And after you make one circle, you double click. Then you make a nice shape, and basically this will give you exact acreage of your pasture or grazable rangeland. And after you make the area of interest, then now we need to click on this third tab saying Soil Data Explorer. So once you click on the third tab, it says Soil Data Explorer. It doesn't still give you this nice fancy colored pasture coded map, but you go into this vegetative productivity, And under the vegetative productivity, you can select range production, fantasy, normal year. I clicked on normal year, but you can select unfavorable year. But, you know, to using example, I don't want to be too negative, so I clicked on normal year and view rating. And once you click on view rating, um, the, this website will generate this color coded nice map of your area of interest. Very artistic map. And this will also give you this rating, map unit symbol, different soil types of each alphabet correspond to this, you know, alphabet in map. And also pounds per acre forage production. But tricky thing is I still don't want to, I'm not really comfortable using these numbers to calculate your stocking rate because this is based on their soil survey. It is not reflecting your current management conditions or last year's precipitations or your weed management plans, and all that stuff is not included, but this is kind of what they expected. So we're gonna still need to correct our own numbers like this, but it's still useful to use these numbers as just a relativeness of your land. For example, you have like HCA, HCB locations has 2,000 pounds per acre productivity, which is kind of hard to see on map. But compared to these locations, your VCC location is only like 1,400, which is 600 lower pounds per acre production compared to this site. So you can kind of see where is your most productive, better land as compared to the other land and stuff. So that's kind of good reference to use. So that was our the making our first step to visualize your pasture or rangeland, so that you can kind of find out the acreage of your pasture or grazable pasture and rangeland. And step 2 is to select appropriate plot size that matches the type of vegetation to be sampled. So just basically we need to create this square plot frame using PVC pipe you can get from Home Depot or some other like garden centers type thing. All you need is create this square plot frame, and you need to know what's the area within this. So because we're gonna be using this square plot frame intensively to take forage survey. So all you need is to know the area within. So normally we use 2 by 2, which is 4 square foot, or 3 by 3, which is 9 square foot. That's the typical size, but you can kind of create however you like and make as long as you know the area within this plot frame. And step 3 is to locate representative areas in each range site. To do that, this is my imaginary pasture in Ford County. I just created to use as our example. So I'm not really 100% sure of what they are growing here and all that stuff, but I just ease of example, I just divide this into 5 different blocks, A, B, C, D, E. I named A, B, C, D, E, which is very creative. But when we want to break this down to some representative areas so that we can take soil survey, I mean, not soil survey, the forage survey easily. And when you make these divisions, make some blocks, you want to just find out, like, you know, you might want to block these guys into some similarity among, you know, if you have a similar vegetation within the A block, that's good. You divide that from the B block. You might have like, you know, vertical section because you see that your pasture has similar vegetation on this side and that kind of stuff. But at the end, you want to know what's the acreage you have within each block. And it has to consist with similarity in these vegetations. You can use Google Earth or Web Soil Survey to find out the acreage again when you divide into some blocks. So this is our step 3. And step 4 is to develop a representative photo guide. So basically what they did is to make the photo guide starting from raw biomass, 200 pounds acre biomass, 400, 1250, 1484 pounds per acre. It's kind of like this look. And finally, if you have about 74, 80 pounds per acre, this looks like this. And you want to create these photos from your pasture or rangeland. So you have a photo reference to compare when you take your forage survey from your land. And I'm going to explain to you in next few slides how to do this. So in our step 2, we made this plot frame using PVC pipe, and you know the area within. So, and just go into your field, find a nice spot that has some vegetation, and put your location ID. In my case, it can be location block A, or I had A, B, C, D, E, so maybe it can be block C. Then I know that my sample area is 4 square foot because it is 2 by 2. And then write down your date of collecting this, taking this photographic reference. And then it's nice to include the height of vegetation. Density, I can say maybe this is gonna be medium high or so. And if you know what species you are growing within this frame, you write down what species you have in this plot frame. And put this notepad within this frame and take a picture. And make sure to include this plot frame whole thing within your picture. And it was recommended to take black and white photo so that it's kind of easier to see later as a use as a reference. And after you take a nice picture, bring your grass shears or clippers or sickles to cut everything down to the ground and put everything in the paper bag. And make sure to write down location, ID, date, height, density, plant species, whatever you took note from this plot on your paper bag. And now we need to dry them. We usually use a maximum big drying oven, like drying room. But at home, we can use a microwave, but make sure to heat it up only for 30 seconds. And just check if it's dry, and then if it's still wet, do the 30 seconds again, because if you do like 1 minute or 2 minutes, not afraid that it might catch a fire or something. So do it every 30 seconds and check and wait the dry weight. So I wrote down my note that it was 10 ounce. So that's my weight of dry weight coming from this 4 square foot plot frame. Now it's fun part, calculation, the conversion. So you took your sample from 4 square foot plot frame, and this is a magic number to convert this your ounce from 4 square foot to pounds per acre. Okay, so if your samples was from 4 square foot and your dry weight was 10 ounce, and you just multiply that by 680, that's going to be 6,800 pounds per acre. And what if these are different numbers? They have several sets of area, and there are several sets of magic numbers, conversion factors, and there's the pounds per acre. But to make it easy for you, I created this Excel sheet. We're gonna put the link on the chat room so you can kind of get it later. Okay, so this is my blog. Under resource tab, I created this Excel sheet. If you put the your area of your plot frame, and if you next cell you can put your dry weight, it's gonna automatically convert that to pounds per acre. So you can use the Excel sheet and find out your dry weight in pounds per acre. So And going back to my notepad, I write down the vegetation I took from 4 square foot. Dry weight was 10 ounce. It was converted into 6,800 pounds per acre. Okay. And you basically repeat that with different, levels of vegetation. Try to make a nice gradual increase so that you can use this photo guide as a reference and then make, nice note, um, piece of paper and put your photo reference coming from your own pasture or rangeland so that you can use that as for your forage survey. Okay. Remember our step 3, we divided your pasture or rangeland into several different blocks based on the vegetation they are growing and similarity to each other. And basically we go back to one of the block you made and I put it for 10 stars, no 8 stars here. So let's say I'm standing in one of the star right now with my photo reference I made from my pasture. What I need to do is to toss the plot frame unbiasedly to somewhere around here and look at the inside the plot frame, compare with your photo reference you created, and write down estimated forage within that plot frame. And you repeat about 10 times around these stairs. So I would recommend to just walk 10 steps, toss one time. You might find no vegetation, bare ground. You write down 0 pounds per acre. Don't avoid the bare ground purposely. What I learned from graduate school to be unbiased is sometimes you close your eyes, just toss your plot frame anywhere within a plot so that we don't biasly take more vegetation to feel good. So that's what you do. And in this example, I took 10 sample within one star and I have 8 stars. So that's gonna give us like 80 samples to take. It's gonna be a lot of walking or it's good exercise. But always it's better to take more samples so that your estimate is gonna be accurate. So again, let's say I walk 10 times and took these numbers compared to this, photo reference, and I take average of 10, which was 372 pounds per acre. So my star one average was 372 pounds per acre of forage. And let's say I did repeat it for all the star locations, and average of all the stars ended up 700 pounds per acre. That means I have 300 acres in block A. Average yield on this is 700 pounds per acre. So we just need to multiply by 300 acres. Then I got 210,000 pounds of forage diameter in block A. That's how you kind of get forage diameter estimation. You need to repeat that for block B, block C, block D, block E, so that you have close to accurate forage estimate from your pasture or rangeland. Okay, so this is the one table I got from this extension pub. Title is how much forage do you have. If your pasture rangeland is consisting of short grass, you might find 300 to 500 pounds per acre of grass, and mid grass 750 to 1,000, and tall grass is 12 to 15. And this is gonna be kind of good reference before you start taking the notes and make a photo reference. And so this is kind of range, but it can be lower than this or it can be higher than this depending on your management. So but I thought it's kind of nice to have, numbers before you start taking photographic references. And finally, the step 7 is, so now we know how much forage we have. We started out with Google Earth or SoilWeb web soil survey, we made a photographic illustrations of your pasture or rangeland, and we found out what's the acreage of your grazable land using those three tools: Google Earth or so web soil survey. And we divided up to the representative area depending on based on the similarity of vegetation. And we worked a lot to take forage survey based on the photographic reference you made out of your rangeland or pasture. And we found out how much forage we had. Now we need to bring that to adjust to your stocking rate. So I made a check because we finished this forage supply part, but when we talk about the animal demand, we do not simply use the number of animals because weight of each animal is different, even though they are all same species. And if the weight of each animal is different, then the consumption amount is also different. For example, cow with 800 pounds body weight, consume about 21 pounds of forage a day, while cow with 1,000 pounds of body weight will consume about 26 pounds a day, and cow with 1,200 pounds consume 31 pounds a day. So they are different. So we use this unit called animal unit. It's pretty common terminology for animal scientists. So that we can bring all different animals with different weights into the same page when we calculate stocking rate. And the standard animal is the 1,000-pound cow with calf with average dry matter intake of 26 pounds a day. So this guy is our standard, and we call him 1 AU, 1 animal unit, 1,000 pounds that consumes 26 pounds a day. So in that case, what this guy in terms of AU and what this guy in terms of AU animal unit, it's pretty simple. It's 0.8 because it has 800 pounds. And this is 1.2 because he got 1,200 pounds. Okay. Now we're gonna look at before that. So by knowing this concept of animal unit, we can even bring these goats or sheep into same page as well. Average sheep will be 0.2 animal unit equivalent because 5 sheep kind of consume 1,000 pounds, not 1,000 pounds. It's similar amount as 1,000-pound cow. So they gave them 0.2 animal unit equivalent, and goat is gonna be 0.15. And again, cow-calf with 1,000 pounds is 1 AU. So that's the differences among animals. Okay, now we'll look at applications of animal unit. And I think I skipped about animal unit month. This animal unit month is the amount of forage that was consumed by standard animal unit. So basically the standard animal unit consume 26 pounds a day and multiply by 30 days. That gave us this 800 pounds. So one standard animal unit consume about 800 pounds a month. That's the number. Let's say we have 1,200 acres pasture with estimated annual yield of 1,500 pounds per acre. This is the one you could do with the steps I described in earlier slide. Assuming 30% efficiency. Talking about efficiency, we cannot graze everything they have. As I said, if we graze everything, that's gonna go into the overgrazing issues again that we discussed in the beginning of slide presentation. So, and let's say we leave 50% behind, but still we cannot take 50% because the cow is gonna be very picky, and also insects gonna attack your pastures, grasses, rangeland, and also cows gonna trampling around. And at the end, you may have like 30% efficiency out of 1,500 pounds per acre. So that gave us 450 pounds per acre of annual forage production is grazable. And question is how many animal unit a month of forage are available for grazing. Now we are trying to get how much forage we have on supply and brings the units to animal unit months. So the calculation is 1200 acres. They have 450 acres, pounds per acres available. Just simply multiply by two numbers and we got 540,000 pounds forage available. And divided by 800 pounds, which is one animal unit month. That gave us 675 animal unit months. So now 450 pounds per acre of yield, like forage, became 675 animal unit months. And assume that you have 80 cow-calf pairs, and each cow weighs 1250 pounds, that you'll be grazing for 6 months. What is their forage requirement in animal unit months? Now we want to bring these numbers into animal unit months. And to do that, we just simply multiply 80 pairs by 1.25, which is coming from this weights animal unit per pair, multiplied by 6 months. That gave us 600 animal unit months. We had 675 animal unit months forage supply, and we had 600 animal unit months animal demand with the 80 pairs cow-calf pairs. So is this overgrazing or overstocked or understocked? Simply subtract 600 from 675, then we have extra 75 animal unit months of forage left in the pasture or rangeland. So that means we are understocked by 75 animal unit months. So how many additional pairs could you add to balance out? To do that, we just take 75 additional forage supply divided by 1.25 because that's your animal's weight, and multiply by 6 months because that's how long you want to graze. So that gave us 10 pairs. So you initially added 80 cow-calf pairs, but you can still put 10 more pairs. That gave us 90 cow-calf pairs to make it 675 animal unit month. So that's now a perfectly balanced situation. If you are not familiar with these calculations, I'm sure you're confused. I was very confused in the beginning, and if you are allergic to math, I'm sometimes this nice Excel sheet does all the calculation for you. It was prepared by Dr. Ted McCollum. He is located in the Amarillo, Texas, and he does this. He made this Excel sheet for you to calculate nice stocking rate calculation. Then depending on what forage you have, it's very nice Excel sheet. It's nice to have in your computer, and I'm putting the link to this Excel sheet in the chat room. Okay, so it is critical that the forage supply and forage demand are well balanced, and this figure illustrates the relationship among grazing pressure, gain per animal, and total gain per area. So if you look at the light grazing pressure, this is light grazing pressure on the left side. Gain per animal is excellent. It's very high. Gain per animal is high because animal can be most selective at this light grazing pressure, low stocking rate, because they can eat whatever they have because there are not many animals stocked. But the total gain per area is not as high as we want. So basically in this situation or conditions, we are losing money per area. Under the moderate grazing condition, gain per animal declined slightly, but total gain per area increased. So which is our ideal situation. That will maximize the profitability per area. And finally, under the heavy grazing pressure, gain per acre declined rapidly because quantity and quality of forage is lower, and most nutritious plant parts have already been selected, and energy expenditure increased due to the search for grasses under heavy grazing pressure. So everything goes down, animal gain goes down, and total gain per area goes down. Yep, that's not ideal conditions. We want to be in at moderate grazing pressure so that everything going to be maximized and your profitability is going to be maximized. To do that, our steps to find out forage amount of forage you have. This is going to be your first step and very important step to conduct to manage your pasture or rangeland in better way and more sustainable way. So gain understanding how much forage you have is very, very critical, and to balance forage supply and animal demand. I thought I had so many slides and I maybe went so fast, but this is all I have now. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'd like to take any questions you may have, or if you shy speaking out right now, you can always email me or just give me a call. We can always discuss how to do these steps, and especially web soil survey is kind of sometimes tricky in the beginning because I had the same experience and it took me so long time to find out where to even start the green circle thing that they had. So you can just call me how to use those things too. So that'll be my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kimura. Y'all have any questions? Y'all feel free to put them in a chat pod. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a link to our survey. Uh, y'all mind clicking that? And as we wait here for some questions, let me just go ahead and finish this thing up. You should get a survey pop up on your screen. Again, thank you for taking the survey. It takes a few minutes. All the responses are anonymous. And one thing I'd like to say as we wait for more questions, our next session is going to be on April the 6th. And oh, today's April the 6th. Oh,
Yep.
so, oh, yeah. I think I made a little mistake here. Our next session is going to be on May the 4th. Excuse that, May the 4th. And Dr. Bob Lyons is going to be our speaker. There's going to be one CEU general certificate. And our topic is going to be ready to control some brush, leaf spraying options. So again, May the 4th. And you can, if you're not doing so, you can follow us on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/txrange, just click on like and you can follow us. We normally do 2 posts a week on some kind of educational post and webinar announcements. Dr. Kimura, I see somebody typing the question.
Okay, my email address is ag.tmu.edu, and Ted McCollum's email I'm gonna get used right now. Yep, these are my email and Ted's email. Oh, he's gonna.
Is
Hmm?
he the one in Amarillo?
Yes, he's great. I think he'll be better answering those stocking rate questions since he is our animal scientist.